All right. Hey, hi everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi,
All
Melvin.
right. So welcome to our first ever live, and this is our first time live at PropertyLimBrothers, and we are airing this on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for following us at PropertyLimBrothers. We love to have you with us. So today is 22nd of April. I'm with Mr. Adrian Lim, my brother from another mummy. Hi, Adrian.
Hi, Mr. Brother Lim.
Hi, bro. How you doing at
How's
home,
things?
man?
Yep. Oh, everything is okay for me. It's only that I feel like being cooped up at home, but still manageable. More of the kids and more of the dogs barking at home. Wow.
Which room are you in? Which room are you in right now? Whose room is that?
Oh, this is my bedroom, and finally I managed to get a spot out of my house. Yeah,
Are your
it's not
two
easy
dogs
finding a
outside?
spot.
Are your two dogs
Yeah,
outside waiting for you?
yes, my whole house is on alert. So we are trying to manage the dogs, preventing them from barking and the kids from knocking on my door. Yeah.
Uh, all right. So I'm in my daughter's room, super pinkish room,
uh,
the only pink room in the whole
yes,
house.
can see that. Can see that.
Right, because baby Ethan is sleeping at my room,
I
so
see.
there's no other place. This is the only place I have left. Right, and
Uh,
yeah, so all right, so to all our friends out there, thank you for tuning in with us again. So this is our first live show, again, and for those who have followed Property Bros for a couple of years now, my name is Melvin Lim and Adrian. If you are first time tuning in with us, so just a little bit of introduction. So we are from the Property Bros team, and we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as well. So if you have always watched our home tour videos, and if this is your first time tuning in live with us, we just want to wish that everybody stays safe at home. I mean, the extended circuit breaker has been announced yesterday. Today is 22nd April. So, nevertheless, we hope that everybody remain upbeat and positive. Stay safe, drink more water, go for more exercise as well, and spend more time with your family while still doing your best to be productive at whatever profession you're in. So, today we have a very special guest, and our guest is Mr. Bobby Sim, and so he is an expert when it comes to landed properties, and he owns his firm B&E Group, and they specializes in rebuilding landed properties. So today is all about landed properties, and we want to talk and ask him a lot of juicy questions when it comes to buying landed properties and rebuilding them, doing A&A and all this kind of stuff. So of course, if you have any questions to ask, please feel free to leave your comment down in the YouTube comment channel, plus Facebook Live as well. And if we see any questions that is good and juicy enough, we'll also ask him on the spot as well. So thank you for tuning in with us. And why don't we bring on Bobby to the show? Bobby,
Yay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bobby
hi
Sim
Bobby.
here. Hello.
All right, hi Bobby. How you doing?
Hello,
Yeah,
Bobby.
everything is good so far. Working at
All
home,
right.
doing tenders, quotation, send email, drawings. Yeah, quite normal lah.
Still very, still very
Just
busy.
that don't have to go to job site. That's all. Have to comply with authority. Mosquito
Right, right,
checking, NEA checking. Yeah. So still at work lah.
right.
Yeah,
Great,
not
Right.
great,
totally
great.
shut
Good
down
to
for me.
good to see that you're still very busy. So Bobby, why don't give us the introduction about yourself? How long have you been in the landed reconstruction business?
Myself in this building line for 22 years. I'm professional in
Wow.
submission and
Very long.
building. Yeah, and I have my own department, ID departments to do all the interior works. So
Right,
in-house worker as well. Yeah, structural, starting from structural all the way to the rooftop will be our in-house worker.
right. So
Right.
22
Yeah,
years, 22 years,
yeah,
and mainly specializing in landed
yeah. Only
properties.
purely building landers. Yep.
Right. So
That's
so
a long
averagely maybe,
time.
yeah, that's a long time.
Yes.
And sure, I was like, how many landed properties do you rebuild each year on average?
About 6 to 8 units lah. 6 to 8 units,
Right.
yeah. Mainly is inter-terrace and semi-D because there are a lot of units going around, the turnover, buying, selling. So inter-terrace and semi-D will be a lot. For bungalow and GCB will be a bit less lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when it comes to landed properties, we have we've seen, like, over the past 14 years, we've seen different kinds of landed properties. And of course, when every time when a client goes out to the resale market and look for a landed property, usually they will be, having this dilemma: hey, should I do an A&A or should I do a rebuild? And sometimes it really boils down to what is the cost and the time they spend on doing the A&A or rebuild. So what is your personal preference? Like, if it were to be your own house, do you prefer to go for A&A or rebuild, or usually how do you do this kind of judgment?
Of course, best is either buy a brand new or a rundown to do a rebuild lah. But for A&A recon, if I don't have a choice and you like the unit, then you have to do it after that lah. Otherwise, my point is to buy a land built to the so-called brand new lah.
Right.
Or either buy a
More
brand new
clear
one,
cut.
yeah, so that you can achieve better height, better space planning, and so on lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to rebuild compared to like maybe 10 years ago, so like right now, usually how much does it cost, like if let's say we are talking about rebuild for inter-terrace, semi-D and of course a detached, right? How much does it cost to do a rebuild on a typical land size that is usually available in the market? Then maybe we start from inter-terrace. Like, how much does it cost to
Yeah,
rebuild?
inter-terrace about 1 mil lah. 1 mil to 1.4 depend on the land size. Then building period is about 1 year, including submission is about 14 months. And for semi-D, it take about 2 months longer lah, subject to whether is it a 2.5 story or 3.5 story.
I see. How about the
Yeah.
cost for semi-D rebuilding?
Semi-D is about 1.5, plus minus about 1.5. Yeah, averagely lah.
Average.
But if you call a tender, means it will go up to about 2 million. Yeah, so it's better for you to get a direct builder, professional in submission and build. So the cost will be lower and the time frame will be faster.
So does the 1.5 million include like all the professional fees and the BCA submission and all that kind of stuff?
Inclusive.
Yeah.
Right. Based on developer standard.
The developer standard, right?
Oh,
How about
detached
detached?
minimum 3 million. Minimum is 3
Minimum
million.
3 mil. All right.
Yeah, to 4 million to 5 million for detached
Right.
houses because different requirement.
Mm.
Swimming pool, longer swimming pool, yeah, bigger lift kind of thing. So minimum is 3 million for detached lah, to build.
So for yeah, sorry, Adrian, you go ahead.
All right. Okay. So like let's say imagine it's a inter-terrace, or let's say it's a semi-D, and then it's just a bare plot of land. So how does the foundation laid for this landed properties?
Foundation mainly consists of excavation, piling, soil treatment, rebar, formwork, and concreting casting. Yeah, so these are all the so-called procedure that you need to do up for ground foundation.
Right.
You know.
How
So
do you determine like? Sorry. Yep.
No, it's excavation first. You have to do an excavation. Then after that, if you need piling, then you do a piling. Then after piling, you need to do a soil treatment. Then goes on to rebar, formwork, concrete casting. Yeah, this is a ground foundation requirement.
Right.
Yeah.
And then before that, we already have the architectural plan, like how many pillars and how are the foundation going to be done, right?
Yeah, that one called structure plan. So PE will have to design the structure plan after the archi plan is approved. Then the structure plan have to approve by BCA before we carry out the job.
Right. So Bobby, back to the decision of, let's say, today I'm out in the retail market. Let's say after all this circuit breaker is over, I'm looking for an older house and I want to buy and rebuild. So the moment my purchase transaction ends and I got the keys, you mentioned, let's say if it's an inter-terrace, it's about 14 months, right?
Yeah.
Does that 14 months include the planning phase, or when does the 14 months start? Is it after, let's say, like, if I've met up with the builder already, the plans are already out, or Or what does this 14 months include?
That depends on how fast owner react. Always, I will advise the client to do the submission during your so-called convincing period to save some time lah. Don't wait until completion, then you start to do the submission or whatever. So the house will be empty for at least 3-4 months. So best is
I
that
see.
after you exercise, you start to engage a architect or a builder, then you start to do the submission. So submission, if owner were to act fast, right? The submission only take 2 months, and we can straight away start work, and we will hand over within 12 months. So all depends
Okay,
on
so
how
so
fast
2
owner
months is for
react.
submission, right?
Yeah,
2 months for submission, you mentioned. That means total all in is 2
correct.
plus 12 is 14 months.
Yeah, we can do it concurrently lah. During submission, we can do preparation, hogging, asbestos checking, all the preliminary job we can do during the submission. So when the submission is being approved, we straight away can start work. We can straight away can bring our excavator in. Yeah, that will save a lot of time.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
So
why is it
owner must be act fast.
owner must I mean, as in it's advisable for owner to work hand in hand with the builder lah. So for example, let's say if I'm going to spend 1 million on rebuild, what is the difference in the costing if I were to just do A and A versus rebuild? What's the difference in the costing?
About 50,000 to 70,000 difference only.
Oh, that's only very
Yeah.
marginal.
So if talk about a plot of land, right? Recon versus rebuild, the saving is only, or rather the difference is only 70,000.
Then might as well we
Right.
can do a pure
Yeah, do a
rebuild. That would
rebuild.
be even more
Yeah. So
effective.
normally I'll give client 2 options. You want to do a rebuild this amount, you want to do a recon this amount. So the difference is only 70,000. But normally the client will go for rebuild. But rebuild you need to do a bomb shelter lah, which is okay for me lah. And you have a better height, then you can do your new staircase instead of having existing staircase. You have to incorporate if you're going to do a recon, so the design wise will be affected. Not as good as the brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bobby, talking about staircase, is spiral staircase more space effective or normal staircase is better?
Normal
Spiral
staircase
and normal
better.
staircase.
Spiral staircase is for those that they not enough space. Then those area where they rarely go up then they will do a spiral staircase. Otherwise, a normal staircase is better.
I see.
You know?
I see.
Yeah. Cat ladder, spiral staircase is for special cases.
I
Yeah.
see.
Space constraint, then you do a spiral.
Right, so like nowadays all the if we talk about just inter-terrace, right, all the new ones, especially we see in the market, they are all like gigantic, very huge, very high ceiling,
Yeah.
and we also see the rise in the popularity of lifts. So is based on your experience in these past 2 years, I mean the lifts are getting very, very popular. I think probably because Singapore is more and more people are being aware that our aging population will of course increase over the years. So do you think lift is a must? Let's say you want to rebuild an inter-terrace, right? Must I definitely put in the lift?
Yeah, better. Must put in a lift.
Right.
Even though it's a recon, we also try to design a lift in. Rebuild
And
is
how
a
much
must to do.
is a
The
must to
lift
do?
is
Okay,
it?
and how much? Yeah, how much?
It's 55,000 to 60,000
And those are
for a
like
lift.
platform
Yeah.
lift, I think.
No, passenger lift.
Passenger lift lah.
Passenger lift.
Plus,
It's a good lift.
plus submission and all these things, probably about
Yeah, all in.
80,000.
No,
All in,
55 to 60,000 for rebuild. But if you were to add on to a existing project, existing house or what so the cost will be different because there are a lot of hacking, make goods, all these submission fee, all standalone costing for existing houses that you're going to build a lift. But for brand new one, because we are doing everything together, the lift shaft, everything will be done before the lift come in. So the lift wise is about 55 to 60,000. So it's cheaper always.
Oh, okay. So there are
Yeah.
savings if let's say you do rebuild at one shot.
One shot is cheaper. So if you want to add on onto the existing project, that one will be a A&A. So A&A will be more costly.
I see.
Right.
Does
Yeah.
all landed properties able to build a basement?
Basement, yes.
Hi.
All landed
All
properties you are
houses.
allowed. You are allowed to build basement, but you have to check whether is there any reserve line, is there any sewer line in below underground. So with reserve line and sewer line, those area you can't build. If you don't have these two things, right, you can build all the way without any setback within the boundary wall for basement. It's qualified.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's qualified. All
Qualified.
landers you are able to build a basement.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Does it include the GFA of the house itself?
will be calculated inside a GFA and a built-in. Will be inside.
Hmm.
Okay, I
Yeah,
see.
then cost
Okay,
of
so
basement is quite high.
quite high, huh? Oh yeah, I was about to ask you
Yeah.
this because usually building basement is more expensive. I mean, we even see in like condominium developments where some projects that are basement, some projects are multi-story and stuff. So let's say if for inter-terrace, right, what is the cost? Let's say if I were to build my land from scratch, one with basement, one without basement, what is the cost difference?
$500,000.
Half a mil,
$500,000.
it means 500,000.
$500,000 because we need to do a deeper excavation. We need to
Mm.
do extra piling, retaining wall, ground foundation, all the pump system. Yeah, so all these will actually cost double as compared to above ground work because it's underground.
So
Yeah,
the 1
underground
million
work
that you
normally will be
mentioned is
double. Out. It's
right. So the
above
1
ground.
million
It's
is
above ground.
above ground. So that means 1
Yeah.
mil versus 1.5 million.
Correct. Underground is always expensive. Above ground is cheaper.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
How about
How about sorry, bro.
yeah? How about
Yes, Adrian?
swimming pool? How much to add in a swimming pool for a landed
Uh,
house?
just like the lift, if you're going to do concurrently with the rebuild, then it will be cheaper, likely about 200,000. So if you're
200,000.
going to do just the pool itself, it will cost about 300,000 because there are a
Oh,
lot of
I
make
see.
goods here and there. Yeah, a lot of provisioning. Yeah, a
Mm.
lot of additional things that you need to do if the building is there. If you do
Are
together the
pools
rebuild, we do everything together. Say again?
are pools still popular nowadays?
No. More
No.
popular is people cover up the pool.
Oh, is it?
It's more popular. Yeah.
Oh,
See,
No.
nowadays
Okay.
developer they hardly build swimming pool because it's not very so-called welcome. Yeah,
I
those
Oh,
small
see.
why is
small
that so?
pool people will no too small and people hardly use. People rather to do a lift than a swimming pool. Well
Oh, I
maintenance
see.
lah, all these thing
So you're
rarely
getting more
lah, rarely
requests to
lah.
cover up pools.
Yeah, always give quotation for covering up pools.
How much does it cost to cover up a pool?
About 30 to 40,000, including the
Oh my
finishing.
goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cheaper
I
lah.
always
Cover up
thought
the pool is
having a
cheaper.
I always thought having a pool will increase the value of a property.
Will do. 100,000 at least. Yeah, normally banker will ask you, okay, you have a pool, you have a lift, then they will give you additional of valuation above the for pool is 100,000 more, and
I
lift
see.
is $100,000 more, 100K lah,
I see.
100K more for lift, 100K more for swimming pool. Normally is the case. Yeah.
Right.
I
But
see.
now
I
pool is
see.
not so popular lah, because if you build a pool, then your land space will be a bit more tight in a sense.
Yeah, but existing property, if there's a pool, then valuation also will go up by 100,000. Yeah, those old pool that is being built previously. But for newly built, rarely lah. Now swimming pool is not very popular.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we recently saw, I mean, not recently, probably about 12 months back, we saw a penthouse. There's a pool on the roof terrace on the duplex penthouse. Similarly, almost 90% of all the buyers that came, they actually asked, about the quotation to cover up the pool. And eventually the buyer that bought cover up the pool. And yesterday we just launched our How We Sold series for one of the corner cluster house. They also have a private pool. Similarly, the eventual buyer that bought it also is thinking about covering up the pool as well.
Yeah.
So I think pool does add value, but probably popularity. But Singaporeans are getting really busy, not really having a lot of time to dip in the
Hardly
pool.
use lah. I myself, my house got swimming pool I bought from developer. I also cover up. Oh, my house pool also I'll cover.
Right. So okay, let's talk about like how many bedrooms so-called like the popular choice, because like sometimes when our clients buy landed properties, and we want to have a future proof for that planning, that in future, let's say probably after 5 to 8 years, when let's say if I want to sell my landed, I want to make sure that the number of bedrooms that I have built will be more or less acceptable and popular to the future buyer audience, right? So right now, how many bedrooms for an inter-terrace and a semi-D do you think is wise for somebody to do up in the case that they rebuild their inter-terrace and their semi-D?
Okay. For inter-terrace minimum, you should have 5 lah. 5 to 8 lah, depend on the land size. Comfortably.
5 to 8 bedrooms. Wow.
Yeah. And per bedroom is quite good size, no?
Bedrooms?
It's about 400 square feet per room, including the toilets per room. So it's about 5 to 7 rooms lah. Depends on whether is it 2.5 or 3.5 story. Yeah. For 70, even bigger. Even bigger, because the land size big, the gross floor, instead of having inter-terrace 1,002, for semi-D you have about 1,005 to 1,008. So you can achieve about 7 to 8 rooms anytime. Yeah, so room wise for future buyer is no problem. Yeah, for existing owner, they will build at least 5. Then the next buyer who's going to buy over, they don't have to do any building. They just do a minor renovation. It's good enough. Yeah.
Right. So for example, if let's say I'm rebuilding, I'm a buyer and I'm rebuilding it, minimum, I definitely is recommended to build at least 5 to 6 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So that
easily.
easier to sell. Right.
Yeah, good size.
And I think because with the popularity with building lifts, the concept of having a granny room on level 1 is also not as important already, right? What do you think?
Yeah, once you have a lift, normally I will advise the client to first floor do without the granny's room, so that you have a bigger hosting area for your friends and guests to use. Don't squeeze everything in the first story. Yeah, if you have a lift. Yeah, free the first story for hosting purposes.
Right.
Let's say for design of a house, typical house, is there like a design that you can maximize the use of the space, or is there like a design that is a definitely no for you? Have you come across this kind of no kind of design?
No.
Yeah.
Those odd shape one, but normally odd shape the land price will be slightly good, So there were still buyer, there were still taker. So whether to have a good space planning, you need to get a very good architects to design the layout for you. Yeah, if you don't get a good one, then the design will have a problem. They can't do it. They cannot do a good design. So there will be a lot of space wasted here and there. So yeah, so it's the no one, but they're still taker lah. They're still taker. Yeah.
So it's boils down to the land whether is it a regular land or it's
Yeah, when you say no, I will think of the odd shape landers. But yeah, have to get a good architect to design lah.
Definitely.
Yeah, then the house will look good. Okay.
Right. So usually like when we bring our clients to buy landed properties, right? Definitely, we have to do a lot of homework before we even put on the check, right? So there's a lot of plans that we need to buy from BCA and all this kind of stuff. So maybe Bobby, just share with us like what are some of the very, very important BCA plans to buy before you even put on the check? Yeah.
Best is to check the underground, like reserve line, underground, whether any manhole, any sewer line, all this we call it X-ray lah, underground plan for rebuilding cases lah. So for those like 2-story, 3-story, those old houses, then you have to buy the BCA plan to see what are the unauthorized work here and there. See whether is it affecting your plans or whatsoever. So plan is very important before you buy a landed properties lah. So good to get an expert. You have to get an expert to go down and analyze and give you advice what are the things to look out for before you give an offer. Safeguard buyers' interest. Just offhand, you cannot see. Yeah, the reserve line, the setback, near main road, what is the setback, behind the road, what is the setback, all these things, offhand you can't tell. So best you get a professional down to advise you accordingly. When buyer understand everything, then you give a check.
What are some of the worst case scenarios you have seen? Like, you know, some case that you have seen before, like your client wanted to build something, but because of the fact that they probably didn't check and didn't buy the BCA plans, and then they discover, hey, I can't actually build.
There are a lot of cases happening
maybe share
almost every month. Yeah, example like East Coast, somewhere in East Coast side along
Is
the
it
road.
those are reclaim type?
It's due to the setback issue. Because clients see offhand, they like the property, good price, they give a check. After giving the check, they come to me. Then I check for them. The setback instead of 7.5 become 12 meters. So the house totally can't build. Why can't build? Because the plot depth will be very, very small. And after building the house, even though can be until 3.5 story, the house is going to be very short and long and tall. I mean, very short and tall. So you get very little GFA. So in short, that house can't build because the setback is 12 meters. So what happened? The client after buying just leave it there. After 3 years, he can sell away.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So it's overlook lah. So it's a 2.5 million property. So overlook on the setback itself. After buying, then they know that it's 12 meter setback. I proposed everything to them, but they dropped the idea of building. So they go and rent a place elsewhere and leave that house there for 3 years, then start to remarket again. Yeah, so buyer has to be careful when come to all this kind of setback issue. You won't know
all the plans are very important.
Correct. You won't know until you give a check. Then by then it's already too late. Many cases.
Okay, we have many cases like this. Okay, we have a question coming in live. Alex is asking, you know, for a single story terrace, how much is the renovation cost for a land area of about 1,200 square feet? So Alex is asking about renovation cost. Maybe can share with us if, let's say, for rebuild, purely how much does it cost? If not, then just for renovation on the single story interior, how much does it cost?
Alex, 1,002 square feet land size based on 2.5 story, it's about 700,000, including submission.
Oh, it's a single story. He says it's a single story.
Yeah, built to 2.5. I mean, tear down and build 2 to 2.5. And 1,002, I think this is under a special setback. In front, setback is 5 meter. Behind, I think 2 to 3 meter. Need the address to check. But the first story, if there's a back lane behind, there won't be any setback.
Right.
Yeah. Alex, you get me?
So it's about 700K lah. If let's say
700K.
we don't tear down, we just do a renovation, how much does it cost?
200,000.
About 200,000. Okay.
Yeah, for one level is 200,000.
So the difference
based
is
on
about
tear down one is
500.
700 lah. Better value, better resale value. Okay.
Right. Great.
Anything?
Let's okay. Let's say if for people who like greens, if they want to plant a tree, let's say I want a tree right in my backyard. You know, is there any requirements of different type of trees that can be allowed, or what if there's a tree, there's a heritage tree? Can I take it off?
Remove, you need to apply to NPark for approval. But if you're going to plant a tree, you don't have to.
Okay, so any type of trees I can just plant on my backyard?
Not durian, rambutan, you know. All these fruit tree you need to apply. Other than that, those decent tree you can just plant, you know. Yeah, but when you want to remove, you will have to apply. But you plant, you don't have to apply.
You know why Adrian is laughing? His favorite fruit is durian.
Yeah, so if you want to build a durian tree behind your house or whatever, you need to apply. Yeah. Other than that, don't have to.
it's dangerous to build a durian tree at my backyard because what if my durian drop on my neighbor's roof? Then I'm going to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
No, what if a durian drop on your dog? Drop on your
Oh
dog.
man, I'll be sad.
Yeah.
Right. And
So tree wise
okay,
is
Bobby,
like that. Yeah.
sure it's like that. Okay, great. So you know what are some of your advice? You know, like is it advisable to buy landed properties that's facing the main road versus landed properties that are maybe a little bit inside, probably not too deep lah, you know, if not your kids, but then they come home, if they go secondary school, they have to walk like super deep and stuff like that. I mean, that's my own personal preference lah, but is it advisable to buy landed properties right beside the main road? Because always people have concern, you know, like based on the road widening, road line plan and stuff like that.
My personal preference and years of experience, I don't see any problem because my client still buying 7-8 million just beside the main road. It's very noisy, you know. But they still buy it 7-8 million, no problem. Because why? When you go inside, right? Deeper inside, you need to pay another 2-3 million more just for the same land size. So I think it's fair. It's fair for everyone that if very deep inside or near the main road, the price of course is slightly lower. So I think for buyer, they will still buy and build.
Yeah, I mean, we call this like the discount factor, right? Because if let's say any properties has different kinds of external attributes, example is facing the expressway or facing the main road and stuff, usually there's like a discount factor on the price itself, so that, you know, the buyer will find that it makes sense. Hey, I buy a quieter facing versus a slightly noisier facing. There's a discount in the price itself. Yeah. So for you think that actually facing a main road is fine as long as there's like a discount factor and stuff like that.
Yeah, there are still a lot of buyers going around buying things like that. Like Swiss Club, you know, Swiss Club, 4-5 million MED. My behind is an expressway. A bit noisy lah, but my client also bought it. Bukit Timah Road, about 7-8 million, just beside the main road. Also, my client bought it. Yeah. So I think there's still taker and there are demands lah. So long as it's good price, I think all this property got no problem selling. Yeah, but you cannot sell very high price lah. But 7-8 million is not a low price, you know. Yeah, it's quite a huge amount, but they are still buying.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We have another question from Pauline. So Pauline is asking, you know, like, should I do rewiring and change piping for 22 years old landed property? Maybe Pauline can advise us, like, is this like a single story, 2.5 story, and is it an inter-terrace MED? How big is the land size?
I think based on 22 years old, I think it's good enough to advise lah. My advice is, if you doing any major hacking work or whatsoever, the pipe and the wire you must change. Yeah. If you are not going to do any renovation, just a simple painting or whatever, and the thing is there for 22 years, then you don't go and touch it. Then should be all right. You know?
Right. Yeah. So it depends on the current condition, I guess. Or it's a 3-story inter-terrace.
Yeah, 3-story inter-terrace.
Don't have to change if you're not doing any major hacking or whatever things. The thing still can work properly.
Right. So advisable not to touch it.
Yeah. If major hacking, then I advise everything to be changed.
Okay. Great. So you know, like in Singapore, there are a couple of major areas for landed properties, and of course, like D19 is one of the very popular. District 28. I mean, these are areas before going into the 9, 10, 11 zoning. So right now we also notice, like, for landed properties, the price bracket has changed. You know, last time when we started 14 years ago, how much was the inter-terrace, Adrian? Last time 14 years ago when we started, 2006.
I think probably about a good land size, maybe about 2,000 land. I think you can get about 1.2, 1.3 million.
Yeah,
and that one, right? And I still remember, like, you know, year 2007, 2008, corner terrace at District 28 is only like 1.3 million, 1.3, 1.4 million. Right? And right now, right now, I think without 3 million, it's really extremely hard to find a inter-terrace. I mean, just an inter-terrace is really like inching around the 3 million mark if you're talking about D19, D28. And we really see, that kind of jump probably like once every 10 years. But I still remember the price of landed property really shot up after all the condominium prices actually went up. And that was like it was after the Lehman Brothers. It was like 2011.
Yeah,
2010, about
2009,
there.
10, 11. Yeah, about there.
Right. And 2008, 09, that period, I still remember the price of a landed property and a condominium is like very close. And because of that effect, the land properties started to shoot up very, very quickly. And in fact, I think that for the last quarter, landed property prices still, inch up slightly. So Bobby, what do you think? I mean, like 22 years in the industry, you have seen the prices of landed property. What do you think of the price appreciation?
Keep going
movement?
up, I should say. For the past 22 years, I've seen from 1 million jump up to 3 million, and it's still going up. For
But a very
inter-terrace and
gradual,
semi-D, very gradual.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
but still
But it's
affordable.
very strong.
Still affordable.
Still.
3 to 5 million property, there are still a lot. So all these property, I presume it will go up to at least 1 million in 3 to 5 years time. Yeah. So less than 4 million, you still can get brand new inter-terrace easily nowadays. But I don't think it's easy to get below 4 million in 3 years time. You can't see anything below 4 for brand new inter-terrace. Yeah, my point.
Yeah, it's like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, 2.5 million. You still have a couple of choices in the terrace. Now, it's like 3 million. It's very hard to find something that I don't really need to spend a lot of money for A&A or whatever. So
difficult.
it's not easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
it's
talk
quite
about brand
difficult.
new, I think it's near to 4 mil. 3 to 5 to 4 mil you still can get now. Still a lot.
Yeah, and now 2.8 to 3 is like we're talking about houses probably
Land
about
size.
15 to 20 years.
Land size whereby you need a 1 million, 1.5 million to build kind of thing. So by then it will end up to be about 4.5 million for inter-terrace at east side, Katong side. About 4.5 million. Land size is not big, it's about 1,008. Yeah, it's not big. Already reaching 4.5 mark already.
Yeah, and like Serangoon Gardens, just for a brand new inter-terrace is already like between around 3.8 million mark. So it's really touching the 4 mark already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Hey,
only
Adrian, we have a
2.5
question
story.
from. Yeah, it's only 2.5 story, right? Adrian, we have a question from Brandon.
Yes, from Brandon, he would like to check, can I ask if let's say building a basement, worth the cost of about 2.5 to 3.5 story, how much is the cost to build the basement today?
Cost. Okay, Brandon
Yeah.
question. We talk about rebuilding cases. So the basement itself is 500,000. So if you want to build a 3.5 story based on a land size of 2,000, the cost will be about 2 million with a basement. So 1.5 plus 2 million. I mean plus 500,000. 1.5 for the 3.5 story above ground, 1.5. And underground will be 500,000. So total need to set aside 2 million for this. How many level? 5 level basement
2.5
plus.
or 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 plus basement. So total for 5 level, 2 million.
Let's see.
Right.
Yeah, the time range is about 18 months.
Time range is 18 months if there's a basement. So without basement, 14 months. With basement, 18 months.
Yeah.
So the basement is another 500,000 plus another 4 months.
Correct.
Right. So it's really about whether do you really need the basement or not, and but of course that's additional space and things that you can utilize and
You
stuff.
will increase the value of the property but the quantum become too high, your resale also got problem. You can enjoy the basement but when it come to resale, I don't think so you can get back 500,000. Maybe 400,000 or 300,000 more. But the quantum become bigger, it's very difficult for buyers to commit. They want the basement, but they don't want to pay the basement price. Yeah,
Right,
it's a plus
right.
point for selling lah, but not the plus point for the value.
Right. And Adrian, you still remember the beautiful house we sold at Sunset, the one with
Yes.
the one that you did the pull up. So, the one that you did. So if you have not seen the video, you can still go to our YouTube channel. The video is still there. There's a portion that Adrian was doing pull up at the gym, and there was like a 3-meter pool that stretches all the way to the basement. Super beautiful house. But it's sold already. If
Yeah,
you have missed it, yeah. And okay, so coming back to the price, like now the brand new Inter Terraces, if we just talk about District 19, District 28, is inching towards the 3.84 million. If it's probably a 20-year-old house, it's now like around 3 million. And there are also another class of landed property, which is like a smaller land size. Like right now, we're selling one of them, which is at Jalan Usaha, District 19, which is 1 kilometers from Mary Stella High School and Paya Lebar Methodist. And I mean, for that, I think, because like smaller plot of freehold landed are lower in quantum. So probably it'll be easier for like the upgraders buyers market to come into the freehold landed kind of zone. And for that property itself, I mean, I like that property. I mean, it's about 2 odd million. It's a low 2 mil kind of range, probably about 2.2, 2.3 mil. And in Singapore, so far I've only seen like smaller landers at the Usaha, at the Thrift Drive area, and also at MacPherson, and also at Upper Thomson, the Jalan Hari Raya area. So what do you think of the smaller kind of lander? Do you think that because all the normal size 1,008 square feet ones are getting so expensive, would this group actually also move up in terms of pricing in a couple of years' time?
Yes, for right now, 2.2, 2.3, I think is a good price for smaller family. Because I think by then, in 3 to 5 years' time, this property will at least fetch 3 million. So after that, they can upgrade to a bigger size or a semi-D by then. Yeah, so 2.2, 2.3 for beginners, I think is a good buy for now. Yeah, you can't see anything like that in 3 years' time, even though the quantum is small. Just Thomson side, is already asking for 2.5, 2.6 at least for less than 1,000 square feet land size, 900 over square feet. Is asking, and your Usaha is 1,000 over square feet, 2.2, 2.3 is a very
1,278 square feet.
Yeah, it's very good price for now. This kind of price you cannot get in Thomson. Thomson 983 square feet, they are asking 2.5, 2.6.
Yeah. We can really see that, Adrian. Adrian, do you still remember last time we sold one at Jalan Hari Raya, is it? Very early days.
It's Jalan Pintau.
Oh, Jalan Pintau. That was about 10 years ago, right? How much was that at that time? Like 1 mil, 1 odd mil?
1 odd mil, and but that time I think was quite expensive price to me. But I think in today's market, I think it's fairly okay.
Yeah, now it's even more than double, 2 point something. Yeah, Pintau side is 2 point something. You cannot get anything below 2. Yeah. Sorry.
Right. And I think even because of this movement in the freehold landed property, I think just freehold landed property is just like the pride of Singaporeans, like because everywhere is high rise, public housing, HDB properties of course are nice and beautiful as a stepping stone for a lot of Singaporeans, high rise condominiums. But because landed property, there's just like the amount of land is just getting more and more scarce. So I think it's really like a form of ownership that you can own your own land, and there's so much flexibility, you can rebuild and stuff like that. So in the last 1 year, I even think that the 99-year landed, they have even inched up in pricing because of what I mean. At PropertyLimBrothers, we call this the substitution effect. That when the next class just gets so much more expensive, the substitute product will also move up in tandem. So what do you think of the 99 standard? Because I see the prices also slowly inching upwards as well.
Still selling very well. Less than 2 million, you can get a semi-D. 2,000 over square feet semi-D. Yeah, there are still a lot of takers on for all these classes of landers. Less than 2 mil is cheaper than a condo.
Right.
Yeah. Then you only need minimum renovation, about 2 to 300,000, and you can live for the rest of the lease.
Yeah,
And
and
the resale value also quite good. Resale value also quite good.
of course, the only thing is that I don't really see people rebuilding a 99 standard because it's probably not worth it. But people will do like renovation and a little bit of A&A here and there. So, and I think the 99 standard is also like a point whereby people would think, hey, should I get a 4-bedder 99 condominium or should I go for like a 99 landed because I have so much more space? Then probably the pricing is about there, right?
A lot of them will compare like this, then they will go and buy the 99 landed and spend 300,000 for renovation. Because a condo also you need to spend that much for renovation. But you're
Right.
staying in the landed, yeah, and it's only less than 2 million. Oh.
Right. I think we have a question from one of our listeners, Keith.
Keith,
Yeah,
yeah.
Adrian, you saw the question? Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So Keith says, I have an RC roof top on level his level is 3.5 story inter terrace, and land size is about 2,000 square feet. And how much to add solar panels? That's his question. Can he build a walkable shelter below the solar panels? Yeah.
Oh, RC roof. To build a solar panel for this kind of land size, normally the supplier will quote about 40,000 for the solar panels.
1,000.
40,000
Right.
for the solar panels. Yeah, for inter terrace like averagely. So we just have to put a DC cable, direct cable all the way up connecting to the DB. Then you can operate the solar panel. It's
Right.
averagely 40,000.
40,000. Can he
Yeah.
build a walkable shelter below the solar panels?
No, solar panel is not meant to block. You need to expose to the sky. Your RC roof is already walkable. RC roof is already a solid slab that you can walk around. Yeah. It's not a roof tile, it's not a metal roof. Yeah, it's a RC roof. So RC roof is a floor slab. Yeah.
Right.
So
So
solar
cost is
panel
about
not supposed to
40K.
be covered. Yeah, about 40K.
About 40K.
Right.
Right. We have another question from Winona. Winona is asking, is landed property still worth to buy for investment gain compared to investment gains for new launch property? So, okay, I think this is a good question. Of course, landed property, if we're talking about freehold landed property, comparing with a new launch, I mean, nowadays new launches usually probably about 90% are all 99 years. There are still new launches that are freeholds as well if it went through an en bloc. I think there are different categories because the audience for condominiums is actually, of course, if we are talking about buyer audience, Singaporeans can buy, PRs can buy, foreigners can buy, and that opens up to a whole range of audience with different kind of ABSD in place. Then if we're talking about freehold landed property, that will cater mainly to Singaporeans. Of course, foreigners can buy Sentosa landed properties, which are 99 years at Sentosa Cove. But for the mainland itself, that will be mainly for Singaporeans. And I think based on capital preservation plus the price movement, which is on a very gradual uptrend over the years, for the last like 20, 30 years, it has never went down. Correct, Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the landed property pricing for past 5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 30 years, it has never went down before. And I think for the fact that a freehold landed property gives you a lot of flexibility. You own the land, you own the structure above the land, and of course, you can always change the structure. You can rebuild it. You can also renovate the interior. Plus, it's a prestige level. So, I think landed property definitely is a class of its own. If you are buying to stay while you invest, I think that's great. But of course, rental yield, it might lose out to apartments because apartments probably is for, let's say, if it's in a great location near to the MRT, there's a lot of tenants pool that wants the facilities and all that. The rental yield might lose out. But if you're buying to stay and to invest with the investment capital element, then I think it's great because you stay and the value just go up very gradually, and so that you know that it can fight inflation. It can be a great retirement tool in maybe 10, 20 years time to pass on to your kids or whatever. So I think it's a different class. It's a different class. It really depends on what are you looking for, and also whether is it your first or your second property, and what is your portfolio strategy and stuff like that, which is a whole different topic altogether. But I think if you value space and you just maybe want that one property to appreciate while you stay in it with your family, with all the space that your family will enjoy, then I think it's a great so-called stay plus investment kind of strategy. What do you think, Bobby? What are your thoughts?
For Winona case, I advise you to buy a landed one-story or original landed properties, let's say about land size below 2,000. You can just buy and just leave it there. Whether you want to build and sell or you want to leave it there, just let the land appreciate for you in 3 to 5 years' time. This is a good investment. Even though there's no rental yield during these 3 to 5 years, it's perfectly all right. Because by then the price will go up at least easily $500,000. If you want to build and sell, you can even achieve more than that. So my advice to Winona is you try to get at least a landed property to buy and keep. Whether to build or sell or whatever, after 3 years, then you decide. For sure, it's likely to go up the price, at least $500,000. So I think it's a good investment.
And I think for the fact that freehold landed properties are also getting very scarce, like the recent 2 launches for Luxus Hill. Luxus Hill, their phase 8 and 9 is all like fully sold out. They're on 9-year lease, and of course, even the Neem Collection 9 years brand new landed properties are also very, very popular. And I think the brand new land for freehold or 999 is also getting very limited in Singapore, right? Adrian, what do you think? What do you think of the landed pricing compared to the past?
Yeah, I think the landed property will increase in value. I do agree with Bobby. It will increase gradually, and once we previously we have clients. I think pilots. I think many years back, as a pilot who sold off his landed and hope to time the market, and he just got priced out because he couldn't re-enter into the market again. So I think a landed property in Singapore will hold its value because land are scarce, and it's definitely one of the collectible items that each and every one of us in Singapore wants to own this a piece of land. Yeah.
2 point something million for land size original condition. I advise all the buyers, investors to go in right now, because likely the price will go up to at least 3 million next year. Already start to go up for many districts. So right now 2.5 and below property, there are still stocks there, but it's selling very, very fast, almost every month. Even though at this scene, I think condition, there are still a lot of buyers going around buying 2 point something million kind of properties, landed properties.
And and I think Adrian and Bobby brought a very good point. And one thing I noticed is that because landed properties, they are mainly bought by buyers who wants to buy and stay, and because they're staying in it, and probably like I'm not sure about the percentage, maybe about 50-60% of the people that bought landed property bought it like 10 years back or 15-20 years back, and they bought at a price that is low, right? And they bought at a price that's very affordable and back then, so they don't really find it an urgent need to sell it like at a very low price in the market, because they're either staying in it or they have previously bought at a lower price. So it's also not easy to spot fire sale for the landed property market, because I think for the fact that the owner occupancy rate is so high, right? So yes, we have another question by Dominic. So Dominic is asking, how much will the savings and economies of scale be if we rebuild 2 side-by-side inter-terrace at the same time compared to just rebuilding one? I think probably Dominic is asking about he owning a large piece of land. Should he cut it out into two, or should we just build one? What do you think, Bobby?
Build two is not advisable for direct owner because there's development charges. One unit development charges minimum is about $500,000. So 2 units is about 1 million. So let's say we talk about one pair of semi-D, a bungalow you subdivide into a pair of semi-D. The development charges is averagely 1 million per unit. So cost will increase by 2 million for the pair of semi-D on top of the construction costs. So talk about one bungalow about 5,000 square feet to subdivide into a pair of semi-D. The construction cost is about 3 million. DC is 2 million. So total costing is 5 million for the pair of semi-D. So divide by 2 again, 2.5 million construction cost per semi-D. So it's not advisable to do a subdivision due to DC charges. Best is build 1-to-1, 0 DC at this point.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. All right. Adrian, you got any final question for Bobby?
Final question. Okay, let's say for recon, what are the most exotic or expensive material used in the market currently?
Most expensive.
Wow.
There are a lot, unlimited. Because why we call it expensive is that for landed properties, the area is very big. So the difference is only maybe, for example, $100 to $200 PSF. When you times to few thousand square feet, the difference is a lot. It's about,
Right.
maybe 100 to 200,000 compared to different kind of material. That's why the areas is actually affecting the cost. That's why we say very expensive. It's not per piece. We go by per how many thousand of square feet. Yeah. So normally client will choose the entry range kind of material to go in. Because due to the area too big, so they will not choose something like marble, granite, unless it's a very small area. For a big area, normally they will choose a decent kind of material to cut the cost down.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
Because one of the houses that we sold, I think the marble is specially ordered from Spain, I think. Yeah, so the
Spain.
design is very rare. Yeah, from Spain, and then it's shipped, into Singapore, and then it takes some time to lay it. Yeah, so I just wanted to check whether
this marble can easily to build the cost of the marble can easily build a lift. 55 to 60,000 for a marble slab, is it's very common if you talk about indent. So if you convert it to you want to build a lift 55,000, then who will go and spend that kind of money unless the owner is very, very rich?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I think it all depends on what you want for the design and stuff like that. Okay, great.
Correct.
I think today's session is really very juicy, a lot of meat involved. And thank you everyone for tuning in with us. So
thank you.
This episode that is live, we will be airing it on the recorded version next week. So if you want to have a recap on what was being discussed right here with Bobby, the founder of B&E Group, you can actually look out for this recorded episode on next week. So so far so good is our podcast series that we used to hold in our PropertyLimBrothers studio, and of course now we are in the circuit breaker season. But nevertheless, we hope that everybody stay safe, be positive, be upbeat. There's more time. That of course we stay at home and spend time with our kids, and of course we will do our best to be as productive as possible to create more content for our audience. And if you want to have a look at some of the services that Bobby provides at B&E Group, he has been in the rebuilding business for the past 22 years. Head over to his website. We'll drop the link down below later. You can check out his services, give him a call if you have any advice. He has been a great so-called partner with PropertyLimBrothers. Every time when we need advice on certain kind of landed properties, we'll call him. And
yes,
you can check out his website.
Yeah, Bobby is very experienced and he's very helpful as well. If you have any questions, just feel free to pass him.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and next Saturday, next weekend, we're going to have a live episode, a special episode as well on our Facebook and on YouTube. So do keep a lookout on that. Stay tuned with our YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook channel. And of course, If you want to see some of our home tours, just head to any of our platforms. If you want to have a easier assortment of playlists, you can go to our YouTube channel and check out some of our episodes as well on Invest and Us and how we sold. And we hope that everybody stays safe. And my name is Melvin Lim, together with my brother Adrian Lim.
Adrian Lim.
Right, and we'll see you back here live on next Wednesday as well on our next guest. And thank you, Bobby, for today's session. Really
Okay,
appreciate your
sure.
time. Yeah, we also hope that
Everybody,
you stay
take
safe.
care.
Right, and last thing, a little bit of
Bobby.
commercial. So PropertyLimBrothers team is still very active, even though we're all at home. And of course, we cannot conduct any physical viewings nowadays. But as you all know, we have virtual tours, 3D virtual tours. We have our signature home tours. Is all listed on our platforms and our website. If you need any virtual consultation to selling or buying your properties, or you need to have one-to-one FaceTime with our listings manager to walk through some of our properties for sale right now, just drop us an email, a DM, WhatsApp us. Our contact numbers are all here, and we really hope everybody will stay safe during this season and keep yourself safe and strong. And we wish you all the best. All right.
Stay safe.
Thanks, Bobby.
Well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Bobby.
Bye.
See you.
Take care.